Good evening. We'll call to order the meeting of the City Plan Commission. Roll call.
O'Reilly.
Here.
Frederick.
Here.
Hiles. Caprillion.
Here.
Besler. Beith. And the mayor is also absent.
Okay. Can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, can I get a motion for the approval of minutes from the October 25th, 2023 meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve.
O'Reilly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item number 5, identify potential conflicts of interest. Please be advised per city policy 3.340 that any member of the body shall declare a conflict if they have an interest, financial or otherwise, direct or indirect, or engage in a business or transaction or professional activity, or incur an obligation of any nature that is in conflict with the proper discharge of the body's official duties. Does anybody have a conflict to declare? Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 6, citizens' comments. Is there anyone in attendance that would like to address the Plan Commission? Is there anyone in attendance? Is there anyone in attendance? No, there's no one here. Okay. We'll move on to item number 7. Rezoning request by Kylan Hastreiter representing S&R Truck LLC. He is requesting to rezone the subject property located at 1710 East 29th Street, parcel 33-03549-1 from LI Light Industrial to GI General Industrial. Presenter is Bryce Hembrook, planner. Public hearing is required for this item. Bryce, take her away.
Sounds good, thank you. So the applicant, as John had just mentioned, is proposing to rezone the property from LI Light Industrial to General Industrial. So the property is located on the southeast side of the city. It is located in generally an industrial area. There is a single family residence that is actually adjacent to the property, but that residential property is located within the township. And then to the south, there is also a lot of township land that is vacant or wooded, wetlands, etc. But for the most part, to the west, to the north, and to the east, it's generally industrial area. So the conversation began when the applicant had asked me about the hard surfacing requirements. They are looking to expand some of their parking area to the west of the building in order to improve their traffic circulation as well as add some parking. Most of the property already has gravel, so that kind of was why the applicant first asked me about this, and I explained that in the general industrial district, there are more lenient hard surfacing requirements if certain requirements are met, or if certain elements are met. But after talking with the applicant further about the existing use on the site, I determined that the use is more likely in heavy industrial land use rather than a light industrial land use. And the heavy industrial land use is only permitted within the general industrial zoning district. So after looking into this, I suggested that, whether it's now or down the road, it would probably be best to rezone or attempt to rezone to a general industrial zoning district. That way their land use is permitted in case there's any future expansion, of their operations. So S&R Trucks LLC owns the subject property as well as the adjacent property to the west, which is located within the township. And the applicant described the use as having motor vehicle manufacturing. And so that's what kind of dictated the heavy industrial land use designation. So here's a photo of what the property currently looks like. And then here's the zoning map. So the subject property is the only property within that area that's zoned light industrial. The properties to the north and the east are all in general industrial, and then the very light gray to the south and the west, and directly to the east that is all within the township. So after first kind of looking into this, I was actually surprised that this wasn't already zoned general industrial because of the surrounding area as well as the use. This property has been zoned as light industrial since the citywide rezoning in 2013. But the future land use map identifies this area as being general industrial. So it would be consistent with the future land use map as shown here. So as you can see, most of the city-owned properties within the city are all kind of designated for general industrial, and then the lands to the south and to the west are residential. However, that's not within city limits. So in the staff report, I provided a list of the permitted and conditional uses that are allowed in the general industrial. A lot of these uses are also permitted in the light industrial zoning district. However, this zoning district is more intensive, so there are a few more land uses that they could technically have on their site. But as of right now, there aren't really plans for any expansion as far as I'm aware of. I would imagine that it would likely be in the heavy industrial land use or light industrial land use designation. So I provided some additional information in the staff report, but with that, I feel that this request is appropriate in this location, and my staff recommendation would be to approve the rezoning request as presented to rezone the property from LI, light industrial, to general industrial, and direct staff to prepare an ordinance for common council consideration.
Okay, thank you, Bryce. This item does require a public hearing. Is there anyone that would like to address the Plan Commission? Is there anyone that would like to address the Plan Commission? Is there anyone that would like to address the Plan Commission? Hearing and seeing none, we'll entertain a motion from the Commission. Mr. O'Reilly.
Motion to approve as suggested by staff.
I will second that.
Okay, discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Item number 8, discuss 2013 cooperative boundary plan between the city of Marshfield and the town of McMillan. Presenter, Steve Barg, City Administrator.
Thank you, John. Well, back in 2013, the city and the town of McMillan entered into a boundary agreement. The principle of boundary agreement between a city and a town is to establish areas around the perimeter of the city where there'd be certain expectations, whether there'd be places where the town would agree not to contest annexations, where there'd be planning for uses that jointly affected both of the parties, what would be expected for future development, and the types of uses that might be entertained. So we've been operating under that for 10 years. The chairperson of the town board, Debbie Durfus, approached me back around the 1st of September, somewhere in there, and pointed out the fact that this agreement ended in late October, and that the town was interested in looking at perhaps renewing that agreement for another 10 years. So it's a matter of more than just renewing the agreement. At first, when I looked at it, I thought, well, if we're just extending it, we can certainly do that without a lot of fanfare. But in reviewing it and talking with Bryce Hembrook and Josh Miller, our economic development consultant, the former director of development services, it came to light for me that there would be a lot more to it, and that involves more work than just stamping a new date on a plan. Certainly all the conditions have changed, the mapping would need to be changed, and a lot of things would have to be worked on. It would require staff time and perhaps even some consulting help. So it's a bigger project than you might think. The benefits of doing this are there, but one of the benefits can continue on, and that is a cooperative environment between the city and the town. One of the benefits of this whole agreement that the town has really liked is having regular joint plan commission meetings, joint planning meetings between the city and the town. We've often met, a couple times a year even, and we certainly get together for joint meetings when there's an issue of concern to one or both parties surrounding the boundary of the city, and we've been able to work through some of those matters. So one of the things I suggested to the town chair is that we could continue, even without an agreement, to hold annual meetings and more often, if necessary, to continue to dialogue about some of the concerns and issues that both parties have as growth occurs. But we would want to put off until today for if you don't have a director and a city planner or an associate planner, any of those positions in place at the city, and that would greatly hinder us in terms of trying to do a new plan. So with that in mind, it's staff recommendation that we do not pursue this any farther. I have advised the town chair that would be my recommendation, but that we continue to meet with them cooperatively, at least annually, more often as necessary, to jointly work together with the town of McMillan.
Okay, are we planning to vote on anything, or is this informative to?
Vote on anything, or is this informative to?
I don't think you actually need to vote. We didn't put this down as an action item.
Okay.
I guess I would take any comments to the contrary. Otherwise, we could just assume that this would be shelved until at least we have the staffing that would make it even possible for us to work on a project of this nature.
Yeah, Ms. Bisler.
I would be very concerned on signing any sort of agreement until we have staff in place to really look at the consequences of going, especially a 10-year plan. That seems pretty far-fetched right now.
Anyone else have any comment? Mr. O'Reilly?
Hey, Steve or Bryce, if one of you could speak, is there any potential hindrance to not having this in place, or is it just a formality?
I'll address that first, Bryce. I mean, there, annexations that may occur, and some people are concerned as to whether this would hinder, let's say a property owner came to the city around the boundary in the town of McMillan, they wanted to annex, they wanted to develop into some residential, homes. The process outlined by state law would take effect. The petition would go forward as normal. The town might express some concerns, but it wouldn't hinder any development. I think that would be the main concern that people might have. We should be able to go on and continue to do business. Bryce, do you have anything to add?
No, the only other thing one thing that is that in the past we have reviewed new certified survey nets when they're located within a certain area of town of McMillan. So we would sit down with the Joint Plan Commission Joint Plan Commission to determine if there's any issues. The thing with that is we still have extraterritorial review for CSM, so I review it regardless if we bring it to the Plan Commission or not. So no, I don't think that there's an issue if we go without this. That was kind of the main thing that the Joint Plan Commission reviewed. The only difference is I wouldn't necessarily have that dialogue with the whole group. It would just be a city staff review. That would be the main thing. I do agree with Steve that, cooperating with the town of McMillan has been good. I worked with them for our bicycle and pedestrian plan that we adopted, I believe, 2020. So we involved them on some of those bigger discussions, and I thought that was a good thing. However, I don't think it's a necessary thing, at least until, as Steve mentions, at least until we can reevaluate with staff and put more time into it.
Thank you, Bryce. Does anyone else have any comment? Mr. Biles?
I would like to hear your comments on this, since you were our rep.
Yeah. So I did participate as the City of Marshfield member of the Joint Plan Commission a couple of times throughout the years that I've been on City Plan Commission. And it was valuable in that it helped to develop a relationship. We were able to discuss issues that do affect both the city and the town. However, I think the idea of incurring a lot of work and expense in recreating this plan, it's probably not worth it. And I think we've done a good job of cultivating a relationship with the people in the town of McMillan over the years that I think if we needed to, we could easily meet and discuss issues as they might present to us, or we might present to them, and we don't necessarily need a formal body for that, in my opinion. And I do think it would be something to do once we had more capacity as a city in the future. Anything further from anyone?
We're just being informed of this, as I understand your question.
I think this is the recommendation from staff, and if we had any major objection, now would be the time to bring it up? It doesn't sound like we do. Okay.
I think it's a good suggestion. I think we just move forward in that manner.
Yeah. Tell the township no hard feelings. Okay. We'll move on to item number 9 then. Appoint one Plan Commission member to Mill Creek Business Covenant Committee. Presenter is Steve Barg, City Administrator.
Thank you. And just following up that last item, I will convey to Chairwoman Durfus our commitment to continue to meet and talk with them as necessary. We want to be cooperative. That is one of the best things that's come out of that boundary agreement is a good open dialogue with the town of McMillan. Regarding the Covenants Committee, we do have what's called the Mill Creek Business Park Covenants Committee. Their role is to deal with any issues or concerns that come up and variances that might be needed from the established covenants in the business park. They go long periods of time without meeting. In fact, they haven't met for at least a couple of years now, maybe longer. But sometimes they'll have issues come up where somebody wants to build and they want to do something that's different than is spec'd out in the landscaping or parking covenants. Now, these are covenants apart from and beyond the normal city code requirements for what you can do in certain areas of the community that are specifically designed to help keep up the appearance and the good, vibrant environment for the park that we wanted to create when we went into it by buying the property, doing sewer, water, street, and all that. So anyway, we do have a couple of issues coming up now. One of them is Josh Miller, our economic development consultant, has been working on a rewrite of the covenants, not total, but making some changes. He worked with previous Public Works Director Dan Kinect on this a couple of years ago, and I want to get some of those changes made. And also we have a request from one of the businesses in the park to get a variance from what would be the normal parking requirements. I think it might be tied to the landscaping and whatnot as well. But anyway, they need to have that heard before they can move forward their project. So we want to get the Covenants Committee back together. It's been a while, and we need a representative from the Plan Commission to be on that body. So you're not tying yourself to meetings every week or every month, but it's an important part of making sure that we're keeping up on the proper development of that park. So I'd be looking for someone to volunteer and be selected by the body to serve on that committee.
Okay. Do I hear any nominations from the commission?
Since you're not on the
Will you use your microphone, please?
Is there a second? Okay. Any other nominations? No one, okay. All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, looks like it's me. So I'll watch for some communication about that then, Steve, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I'll be in touch with you soon, John, about getting a meeting together on those two items.
Okay, sounds good. Item number 10, staff updates. Anything to update us on?
And adding to my last, it looks like I'm on. Am I on?
Yep, you're on.
Adding to my last comment, thank you, John, for your willingness to do that.
You're on.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Adding to my last comment, thank you. Thank you very much for your willingness to serve. Staff updates, I'll be pretty quick on this. The only thing I really have to report at this point of note is that the deadline has passed. Now it was Friday for applications to our consulting firm handling the hiring of a new assistant city administrator / community development director. And again, that will be the head over the economic development and planning functions. And that'll be the individual who will be working on helping us to get staffing with the rest of the department. So a key position. We'll be looking at the candidates and doing interviews in December, hopefully get somebody hired and on board early in 2024. That's really all I have to report tonight.
That would be wonderful. Okay.
I have a question. Can we ask how many applicants?
Sure. Yeah. Steve, did you catch that?
Steve, Did you catch that?
I did, and I really don't know because of the fact it's being handled by a consulting firm. Good. Of course, we don't know the quality of them. I've been gone the last couple of days, and I know that our HR director, Sarah, has had some contact with them, so maybe she has an idea. But it sounds like from what they're saying, there's at least a fair number of ones that have the qualifications and skills that we would be looking for. So that's encouraging. We've had trouble sometimes getting applicants from for some of our positions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll be hopeful on that. Yeah. Item number 11, items for future agendas. Any suggestions? Okay, hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Second? All right, we got O'Reilly, Besler. We are adjourned.